Life has a rhythm, a divine cadence that unfolds in ways we cannot always comprehend. The patterns in your relationships, the doors that open and close, the restless longing that will not settle, it is all part of something greater than what your eyes can see. You ask why love slips through your fingers, why the connections you thought would last begin to unravel, why your heart keeps circling the same unanswered questions. But what if the delay is not denial? What if every heartbreak, every hesitation, every misalignment is heaven's way of redirecting you toward the one who was always meant to stand beside you? God is not in the business of wasted journeys. He is teaching, refining, and shaping you, because the one he has ordained for you is not found by chance, but by revelation. Until you see through his eyes, the cycle will continue, but when he reveals, clarity will flood your soul, and the waiting will finally make sense. There's a reason you keep running into the same kind of heartbreak, the same kind of disappointment, the same kind of confusion. It's not just a coincidence, it's a pattern one that heaven is trying to get your attention about. See, when you belong to God, he doesn't let you walk through life blindly. He doesn't let you waste time chasing after something that is not meant for you. He sends warnings, he allows repetition, and he does it because he loves you too much to let you miss what he has planned. You see, God doesn't just speak through blessings, he speaks through patterns. If you keep ending up in the same situation, dealing with the same kind of heartbreak, facing the same kind of struggle, you need to ask yourself, is this something I keep choosing, or is this something God is trying to show me? Because sometimes the very thing you are frustrated about is the very thing God is using to teach you. When the same thing keeps happening, it's not because you are unlucky. It's not because you are unworthy of love. It's not because there is something wrong with you. No, no, no. It's because God is showing you something that you haven't yet seen. It's because he is teaching you something you haven't yet learned. And until you recognize the lesson, the cycle will continue. Maybe every time you get close to someone, they suddenly pull away. Maybe every time you think this could be the one, something happens and it falls apart. Maybe you keep attracting people who are emotionally unavailable. Maybe you keep settling for relationships that drain you rather than build you. Whatever it is, if the same pain keeps showing up, God is trying to get your attention. Because here's the thing, God doesn't just let you wander through relationships aimlessly. When you are his, he will intervene. He will interrupt. He will block what is not meant for you. He will frustrate every relationship that is not in alignment with his plan. And if you are paying attention, you will start to see that he has been guiding you all along. God wants you to understand that relationships are not just about romance, they are about destiny. They are about purpose. The person you marry is not just someone to love. They are someone who will either push you toward your calling or pull you away from it. And God loves you too much to let you attach yourself to something that will break you instead of build you. So when things keep falling apart, don't just get frustrated, get curious. When doors keep closing, don't just get discouraged. Ask why. Because sometimes God is not punishing you, he is protecting you. He is stopping you before you invest your heart in something that will take you away from his plan. And sometimes the reason the pattern keeps repeating is because there is something in you that still needs to change. Maybe God is waiting for you to stop looking for love in the wrong places. Maybe he is waiting for you to stop trying to fix people who were never your assignment. Maybe he is waiting for you to realize that you don't have to chase what he has already chosen for you. You see, when it's God's will, you won't have to beg someone to stay. You won't have to force someone to love you. You won't have to fight to keep something that was never yours to begin with. Because when God brings the right person, they will come with peace. They will come with clarity. They will come without confusion. So pay attention to the patterns in your life. Pay attention to what keeps repeating. Because if you don't learn the lesson will keep coming back. If you don't recognize the warning, you'll keep walking in circles. And if you don't listen to what God is trying to show you, you might miss the one he has been preparing for you all along. God is not trying to hurt you. He is trying to help you. He is trying to position you. He is trying to prepare you for something greater. But until you understand the lesson, the test will keep coming. Until you trust his plan, the struggle will remain, because God loves you too much to let you settle for less than what he has promised. And when you finally understand that, everything that's been confusing you will start to make sense. Every heartbreak, every delay, every repeated lesson, it's all been leading you to the right one, the one who won't leave, the one who won't break you, the one God has set apart just for you. So don't fight the lesson, lean into it. Don't resist the pattern. Ask God what he's trying to show you, because the moment you understand it, the moment you learn what he's been teaching, that's when the cycle will finally break. That's when God will reveal what he's been preparing all along. And that's when you'll realize everything that kept happening, everything that kept repeating, it was never meant to break you. It was meant to lead you. You've been praying, asking, waiting, wondering when God will give you a sign, wondering when the confusion will clear, when the path will be made plain. But what if I told you that sometimes the answer isn't in what's changing? Sometimes the sign you're looking for isn't in something new, it's in something constant. The presence that won't leave, the connection that won't break, the feelings that won't fade. You see, when God ordains something, it doesn't just disappear. When God establishes something, it doesn't crumble under pressure. And when God puts someone in your spirit, when he keeps them in your heart, even when you try to move on, even when you try to distract yourself, even when you tell yourself it doesn't matter anymore, something in you knows better, because when something is divine, time doesn't erase it. Distance doesn't weaken it. And silence doesn't mean it's over. There are things in life that fade with time. There are people who pass through your life like the wind, therefore a season gone with the next. But then there are those connections that remain, those people who hold a place in your soul that you can't explain. You don't talk every day, but they're still there. You try to move forward, but something in your spirit won't release them. And you think to yourself, why do I still feel this way? Why do I still care? Why do they still matter? Because God doesn't always remove what he intends to restore. God doesn't always erase what he still plans to use. And sometimes the very reason you can't shake that person, the very reason their name keeps resurfacing in your mind, the very reason their presence lingers even in their absence, is because God is not done with them in your story. Now, that doesn't mean you stop around waiting for someone who isn't meant for you. It doesn't mean you stop living your life hoping, wishing, longing. No. It means you trust the process. It means you surrender the timing. It means you stop trying to force yourself to forget something God hasn't given you peace about releasing. Because let me tell you something. God is not a God of confusion. He is not a God of torment. He will not let you sit in emotional turmoil for no reason. If something is truly not for you, he will close the door and give you peace about it. If something is truly over, he will remove the weight of it from your heart. But if it lingers, if it stays, if no matter how much you pray to forget, you still remember, then maybe God is telling you something. Maybe he is showing you that there is still more to the story. Maybe he is teaching you patience, refining you, preparing you for the moment when the timing is right. Maybe he is working on them, healing them, growing them, so that when he brings you together, it won't just be a reunion, it will be a testimony. But here's the key. You have to trust him enough not to rush it. You have to trust him enough not to manipulate it, because if you take matters into your own hands, If you try to make something happen on your own, you will miss what God was trying to build. That's why you keep feeling the pull. That's why no matter how far you run, something always brings you back to this place of wondering. Because deep down, your soul knows something your mind is still trying to understand. Deep down, you know that what God ordains, no man can undo. So stop fighting the process. Stop forcing yourself to forget something God is still holding together. Stop trying to run from something that was meant to find its way back. And most of all, stop assuming that silence means it's over. Because when God is in it, silence is never the end, it's just a pause. And when the time is right, when the lesson is learned, when the preparation is complete, when both of you are where you need to be, God will remove the silence. God will bridge the gap. And everything that felt unfinished will suddenly make sense. Because what He ordains, He sustains. And what He keeps in your heart, He keeps there for a reason. There are moments in life when you feel like you're standing at a crossroads, staring at two doors. One that leads forward, one that leads back, and you don't know which one to walk through. You tell yourself to move on. You tell yourself to let go. But something in your spirit won't release what you thought you were supposed to walk away from. You keep seeing their name, their voice still lingers in your heart. And no matter how much you try to push past it, the feeling remains. Now, some would say that's just your emotions playing tricks on you. Some would say it's your attachment, your history, your mind clinging to what's familiar. But when God is in something, when His hand is orchestrating the unseen, this isn't just about emotion. This isn't just about memory. This is about the spirit. Because there is a difference between holding on to something out of fear and being held by something because God won't let you let go. You hear what I'm saying? There's a difference between a soul tie that needs to be broken and a divine connection that is meant to endure. And one of the ways you know it's divine is when God keeps revealing this person to you, no matter how much time passes. See, when something is done, God will let it fade. When something has served its purpose, He will give you peace about releasing it. But when something is unfinished, when there is still something being worked out in the heavens, you will notice that no matter how much you try to erase it, it keeps resurfacing. No matter how far you try to move past it, God keeps placing it in front of you. And you wonder why. Why can't I just forget? Why does this person still come to mind when I'm not even thinking about them? Because there is a divine reminder written into your spirit. Because God does not always remove what He still intends to use. And sometimes the sign that this is not just your imagination, that this is not just a past you refuse to move on from, is that God keeps confirming what you already know deep down. He speaks in patterns. He speaks in repetition. He speaks in the things you call coincidence. You see their name at random moments. You hear a song that reminds you of them when you're not even thinking about it. You feel a shift in your spirit, like something is moving in the unseen. That is not by accident. That is not your emotions tricking you. That is God whispering, stay still. I am not finished here yet. Because when something is divine, you don't have to force it to remain. You don't have to manipulate it, hold on to it in desperation, beg God to keep it. No, if it is God's will, He will sustain it. And if He is still bringing it to your attention, it means the story isn't over. Now, don't misunderstand me. This doesn't mean you go chasing after someone who isn't ready. This doesn't mean you sit around waiting, putting your life on hold. No, what this means is that you trust the divine timing of God. You trust that if this person is meant to be in your life, God will do the reconnecting. And when He does, it won't be forced. It won't be fragile. It will be right. So don't ignore the signs. Don't dismiss the patterns. If God keeps showing you something, if He keeps allowing someone's presence to remain even in their absence, if the connection refuses to dissolve even after all this time, it's because there is still a purpose attached to it. And when the time is right, when the lesson is learned, when the preparation is complete, the thing that felt out of reach, the thing that felt impossible, the thing you thought you lost will be placed back into your life in a way that only God can do. Because what God intends for you, no time, no distance, no circumstance can destroy. What he sets apart, no man can take away. And when he brings it back, it won't just be a return, it will be a revelation. There comes a time when you have to stop asking, why is this happening? And start asking God, what are you trying to show me? Because when the same situations keep repeating themselves, when the same lessons keep knocking at your door, when the same feelings won't let you go, it is not just a coincidence. It is not just an emotional cycle. It is God trying to get your attention. See, some of you are wondering why every time you try to move on, something pulls you back. You're trying to silence the feelings, trying to convince yourself that you're over it, trying to distract yourself with new people, new places, new pursuits. But no matter how much you push, it lingers. No matter how much you try to write the story, the same name keeps appearing on the pages of your heart. That is not by accident. That is not a mistake. That is God speaking. And let me tell you something. When God is speaking, he does not whisper to your emotion. He speaks to your spirit. And when your spirit is being stirred, when something keeps rising up in you that you cannot shake, when every attempt to dismiss it only strengthens the feeling, that is because what you are dealing with is not just memory, not just longing, not just attachment. It is divine connection. Now, hear me on this. God will not leave you confused. If he wants something removed, he will remove it. If he wants something broken, he will break it. But if he is allowing it to remain, if he is allowing the connection to endure despite the distance, despite the time, despite everything that has tried to come against it, it is because he is still working on it. And the problem is, many of us get tired in the waiting. We start thinking, maybe I'm just imagining things. Maybe I'm holding on to something that's already gone. Maybe I'm the only one who feels this way. But let me remind you of something. If God has put something in your heart, he has put it in theirs too. If God has connected you to someone, he has connected them to you as well. And just because you can't see what's happening on their end, doesn't mean God isn't moving. Oh, I need you to hear me right now. Just because you can't see the work doesn't mean the work isn't being done. God doesn't just prepare you, he prepares them. He doesn't just work on your heart, he works on theirs. And if he hasn't removed your feelings, if he hasn't shut the door completely, it is because he is still aligning things. And you don't have to force it. You don't have to chase it. If it is God's will, it will find you. If it is God's will, it will come together in his perfect timing. But you have to trust the process. You have to trust that even in the silence, even in the waiting, even in the moments when it feels like nothing is happening, God is still moving. See, sometimes God separates you so he can elevate you. Sometimes he distances you so he can develop you. Because what he has for you isn't ordinary. What he has for you isn't rushed. What he has for you is divine, and divine things take time. So don't be discouraged when it feels like nothing is changing. Don't be wary when it feels like the waiting is too long. If God has placed this connection in your heart, if he has confirmed it time and time again, if he has not given you peace about letting it go, it is because he is still working it out. And when the time is right, when the season has shifted, when the preparation is complete, the very thing you've been waiting for will unfold in a way that only God could have written. Because when God is in it, it doesn't just happen, it aligns. It doesn't just return, it redeems. And when it comes together, it won't just be a reunion, it will be a testimony. There comes a point where you have to stop looking at what's in front of you and start seeing what God is doing behind the scenes. Because the problem with the natural eye is that it only sees the present moment. It sees the distance, the silence, the confusion. It sees the unanswered questions and the waiting. But faith sees beyond. Faith recognizes that what God is building is bigger than what you can understand right now. Some of you are wrestling with emotions that won't fade, connections that won't break, and a pull towards someone that doesn't seem to loosen. And you're wondering, why does this keep happening? Why do I still feel this? Why won't God take it away? But let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped to consider that maybe God is allowing this to linger because he is still writing the story? Maybe he is not removing your feelings because they are part of a divine blueprint that has yet to unfold. See, we want things to happen now. We want clarity now. We want answers now. But God is not a God of impulsivity. He is a God of process. And when it comes to matters of the heart, he does not rush the masterpiece. He crafts it with care. He molds it with intention. And sometimes he lets you feel the weight of something because he is not done shaping it yet. And let me tell you something. When God is in it, it doesn't move on your time, it moves on his. So just because it hasn't come together yet doesn't mean it won't. Just because you haven't seen the change yet doesn't mean it isn't happening. Just because it looks still on the surface doesn't mean there isn't movement in the spirit. Because what God is doing is bigger than what your natural eye can perceive. Think about this. When Joseph was in prison, it looked like nothing was happening. When David was tending sheep, it looked like nothing was happening. When Ruth was picking up leftovers in the field, it looked like nothing was happening. But behind the scenes, God was setting up the exact moment, the exact timing, the exact connections that would shift everything. And the same is true for you. God is not a God of half-finished stories. If he started something in your heart, if he planted a connection in your spirit, if he confirmed something in the depths of your soul, he is not going to leave it unfinished. But you have to stop fighting the waiting process. You have to stop letting the silence make you doubt. Because just as much as God is working on you, he is working on them. Just as much as he's preparing you, he is preparing them. And when the time is right, what was once unclear will become undeniable. But here's the thing. You have to be ready. You have to let God finish the work in you so that when he brings it together, you don't sabotage what he has been preparing all along. Because hear me, God is not in the business of premature blessing. He will not give you something you are not ready to handle. He will not align you with someone if your heart is still divided, if your spirit is still wavering, if your faith is still weak. He is a God of wholeness. So stop trying to rush what God is still refining. Stop trying to force what God is still fixing. Stop trying to figure out what God has already finished in eternity. Because when it is time, so keep walking in faith. Keep trusting in the process. Because when the season shifts, when the preparation is complete, when everything is in its rightful place, the very thing you've been waiting for will find you. And when it does, you will look back and realize that the waiting was never about delay. It was about divine alignment. Sometimes God will keep allowing certain things to happen because he's teaching you something far deeper than you realize. He's showing you the patterns, the cycles, the lessons that you keep missing. And until you learn what he's trying to teach, until you surrender to the process, until you see what he's showing you, you're going to keep walking around the same mountain. Because God is not just concerned with giving you a partner. He's concerned with making you whole. He's not just preparing someone for you, he's preparing you for them. And part of that preparation, it's recognizing the lessons in the repetition. It's understanding that what keeps happening isn't just a coincidence. It's divine instruction. It's God trying to get your attention. How many times have you ignored the warning signs? How many times have you prayed for direction and God gave you an answer, but because it wasn't the answer you wanted, you acted like you didn't hear it? See, God isn't obligated to repeat himself, but when he allows something to keep happening, he's trying to show you something you need to see before you take that next step. Maybe he's showing you the places where you still need healing. Maybe he's revealing to you that what you keep running back to isn't love, it's comfort, and you're mistaking familiarity for destiny. But just because something feels familiar doesn't mean it's from God. Just because something feels right doesn't mean it's aligned. Because some of you, listen to me, some of you are holding on to people not because they are God's choice, but because they are your choice. And God is trying to break that cycle so you don't bring an old mindset into a new season. And then some of you, you keep encountering the same kind of person over and over again. Different name, different face, but the same story. And you wonder why. Why do I keep attracting the same situation? Why does it always end the same way? Why does it feel like I'm stuck in a loop? But have you ever stopped to ask, Lord, what are you trying to teach me? Because maybe, just maybe, he's trying to show you that you need to shift something in you, that before he brings the right one, he's making sure you don't keep choosing the wrong one. That before he aligns you with destiny, he's breaking the tendencies that keep pulling you back to dysfunction. Because hear me, God will not allow you to carry broken patterns into a blessed union. He will not allow you to repeat generational cycles in a covenant he ordains. That's why he keeps putting the lesson in front of you. That's why he keeps letting it happen. Because until you pass this test, you won't be ready for the next level. Until you recognize what's blocking you, you won't step into what's waiting for you. And sometimes the thing blocking you isn't another person. It's you. It's your fears. It's your walls. It's the way you shut down when love gets too close. It's the way you sabotage what's good because you're still expecting the pain of what was bad. And God is saying, you keep asking me for something new, but you haven't let go of what's old. You keep asking me to show you the right one, but you haven't healed from the wrong ones. You keep saying you're ready, but your heart is still guarded. Your mind is still doubtful. Your faith is still wavering. And God loves you too much to let you rush into something you're not prepared for. He loves you too much to let you enter into a covenant that will crumble under the weight of what you haven't dealt with yet. So this thing that keeps happening, this pattern, this waiting, it's not punishment. It's preparation. It's a mirror. It's an invitation to do the work, to break the cycles, to become the person who is ready for the blessing that's coming. Because when it's time, you won't have to chase it. You won't have to question it. You won't have to force it. What's meant for you will come with peace. It will align effortlessly. And when you step into it, you realize that everything God allowed before was never rejection. It was redirection. And everything he kept you from was only because he was leading you to something greater.